Hi, welcome back. My name is Saunders, and I'm the narrator of The Knowledge, which provides for humanity the power of knowing how life works. If you're interested in knowing how life works, stick with me, because this is going to be an interesting journey for all of us. Some of you have been here many times before, and I appreciate that. What we're going to talk about today is, first off, I'm going to review what our last video was about. It was disengagement and disassociation. Now what we're going to do, because of the feedback that I got from that, is talk a little bit about what we're really digging into as far as disassociating with large groups. And here we go. The bottom line to all of this is that when the knowledge arrived 15 years ago, it basically provided for me an insight on the dangers of cults. And so the very first thing I did after the knowledge arrived was I dug deeply into Hitler. I dug deeply into Jim Jones and the Jonestown massacre type of a thing. I dug into David Koresh at the Branch Davidians in Waco, Texas. Because when we hear the word cults, we think of evil. And so I dug deep. And when I discovered that they are evil, which was pretty common sense right there, I thought something's not right, because the insights that I got kept hammering on me and saying, dig deeper. And so what I did is start observing. And you'll notice a video that we did before on observations. Watch the world around you, see what's going on. And then I defined what all of us believe a cult is. They have a leader, they have an agenda, and then from that agenda they try to get followers, and one follower helps the other get indoctrinated, if you will, and I'm going to use that word because it's an open word. But the whole fact of it all is when you have a leader, you have an agenda, and you're trying to gain followers, it is exactly how life works, because the frequencies that are being passed, the information, the messages that are being passed from a follower to a follower is what attracts these groups together. And where am I going with this? You see, we are all members in some way to a cult. And you're going to say, no. But we are. Large groups of people have come together, both religiously and politically, as well as all of the smaller segments, the educational segments, the universities, the job groups. All of those people follow the leader. And those leaders sometimes are elected, and sometimes they just assume their responsibilities, and they pass all of their thoughts, their agendas, down to their followers, and then their followers share with each other through the frequencies, the messages that I'm always talking about, the signals that they're giving off, and that group gets bigger. So every religion, and please don't take this off the wall someplace, but every religion is basically following a leader. They follow the priests and the pastors and the rabbis, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I just want you to understand that by following someone else, rather than doing what you feel is correct, you are simply a member of that associated group. And then how that builds is the energy builds. So the next thing to think about, other than religion, is politics. You have the right and the left and the independents, and all of those people are following a leader. And you think it's okay because you've elected that leader. So he's got to be good. We put him in office. But he has an agenda, or she has an agenda. And that agenda spills down to the followers. And before you know it, you've got a large group. And here's where the problem lies. You've got one group thinking one way, one group thinking another way. You clash as far as your belief systems, whether or not you're Christians or Muslims, Buddhist, Doesn't matter. You've all associated together. And because of that, you have separation. And if you watched one of my very earlier videos, that's how we all got here. We separated from oneness and worked our way through the system, and then we materialized, and here we are. And we're in groups. Instead of thinking for yourself, which by now, if you watch the videos, you're going to start understanding where those thoughts, feelings, beliefs, emotions, where they come from, where they reside. They reside in consciousness, something we can't even describe what consciousness is these days. And the fact is that all of that information that we've created as our thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and emotions and deposited back into the consciousness, and you've heard me say many times, I don't care whether you call it universal consciousness, God consciousness, or cosmic consciousness. I don't care what the label is. The reality is that that is where we get the information. And then you join groups together in an association, and then they build, because of how life works, they build from the frequencies and the messages, and they create these large groups, which creates separation. So you see, it goes all the way back to where this all started. And the fact is that if you understand how life works, if you have an awareness, and awareness, as you've heard me say many times, is simply knowing how life works. That's the awareness we're talking about. And as far as politics, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter what your political party is. I'm asking you, and I did it in the last video, to disassociate a little bit. Back down a little bit. You're not right about everything, but you make everybody believe that you are. And guess what that causes? That causes friction, which causes separation, which puts us exactly in the middle of the mess that we're in right now. My last video, when I said disassociation and disengagement, I had a lot of questions. People were asking, what are you talking about? That's what I'm talking about. The associations that we create are what's causing the issues, not because we're associated with that group. So I'm not telling you, don't drop your religions, don't drop your politics. I'm just asking you to understand that if that keeps building the way it's building, we might find ourselves in a war. Oh, that would be interesting. We are in a war. We're in a war because of religion and because of politics. And that's what is causing people all over the world to fear what's going to happen next. And I'll tell you, if you keep living in fear, you're going to create the reality for humanity that's going to cause many, many issues in the future. I got good news for you, though. I heard the whole story in my download 15 years ago, and it's got a good ending. It does. What we're watching now is what not to do. And we're going to learn from that. And then 300 years from now, and you're going to be shaking your head, well, I'm not going to be around 300 years. Yes, you will. You will come back. You will recycle. And I'll explain that in detail to anybody that's interested in listening. But the reality of all of this, we are learning what to do and what not to do so that someday, and it's coming, we are going to live in peace and harmony and unity, and we're going to learn what to do on our way back to oneness. That's enough for now. I don't want to sound like I'm on a soapbox, but I will tell you, I cry nightly, just wondering when is the world going to wake up and listen to this message, because that's what it is. It's a signal. It's a message. And it's not going to do anybody any good unless you listen. I'm Don Saunders. I appreciate you listening. Please share this with other people. It's going to change the world when people start to understand how life works. Thank you very much.